Hey critics, and welcome back to the Critic Chronicles YouTube channel where you get commentary reviews and tabloid news. I'm your host, Patricia Hartley. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Hey critics, let's take a critical review of Jenna and Sheinelle's February 23rd episode. Up first, y'all, let's get into the fits, okay? I really did like both outfits equally today. I think it fit both of the ladies' body, yada yada, and the color that they did not only was, of course, their signature navy, but it coordinated together. I feel navy is just kind of like a constant theme throughout the Today Show with Jenna and Sheinelle. And I made a comment before saying I know I haven't been reviewing the show that long, but I think I might be right on this whole navy is gonna probably be a signature color that we see throughout the season. Jenna wore a cute navy baby doll dress, forgiving but still the perfect fit, if that makes sense, you know. It had like a baby blue collar and like leggings is what she wore. And of course the leggings had a little bit of sheer to them, so it made them a little bit more sexy. But what made it even like what really topped off the sexy was them cute closed-toed high heel pumps. That Jenna was wearing. And then Sheinelle, she had like a navy wide leg trouser with like a silk cream top with what looked like ladybugs on the shirt, like a ladybug design. Maybe it's just the design though, right? It may not be actual ladybugs on the shirt, but that's what the design looked like. And she had a silk tie to basically complement the fit. She was also wearing some red bottoms, okay, today. And at the end of the show, they actually talked a little bit about some of the Instagram questions that they received, which I'll talk about later in the show, okay? Just as a reminder, though, as of February the 23rd, 2026, their co-anchor of the Today Show, Savannah Guthrie, is still searching for her missing mom, Nancy Guthrie. And while there is still no trace of her, Savannah's sorority sisters from the Pi Phi chapter of Phi Beta Pi at the University of Arizona, they came together with a shared sort of like a support prayer. They've been also partnering with the city. It looks like they're in Arizona, where the University of Arizona is located. I think it's in Tucson, Arizona. Forgive me if I'm incorrect on that part, but the city is really praying and keeping their support up for Savannah during this challenging time. Of course, Jenna and Sheinelle, they're still wearing those yellow ribbons. And of course, there's signage in the small town, or excuse me, in the town in which they're supporting her, just saying, "Come home, Nancy." And just saying some positive vibes. There's also a report In Touch that Savannah will be returning in honor of her mom. More to come when it comes to that. The ladies, of course, y'all, was in the New York, Studio A or 30 Rock, all the things. And it was really snowy. They got a lot going on up in New York right now. The news and also Al Roker, they reported and prepared for us and all of the things. Shout out to Al Roker, okay? The ladies also let us in on the fact that they had to sleep at local hotels just because I guess they have to be up maybe like at 4 o'clock in the morning, or maybe their car picks them up at 4. I'm assuming. I don't know if that's actually the way it goes, but their car maybe picks them up at 4, but because of the storm and all of the things, then where they live, the rider or driver may not have been able to get out there. So many of them actually had to stay or sleep at a local hotel, just to make sure that they could make the show in the morning. I got to get to work, baby. I got to get to work, okay? Sheinelle is still binging Being Mary Jane. I think she says that she was on the final season. I'm so good for her though, but she also says that she's taking her time because she don't want it to be over. I get it. Neither did I, Sheinelle. I really did want that show to have a lot more longevity than what they gave us. I feel like they just cut it short real quick like. And I know that there's a deeper story when it comes to Being Mary Jane, as well as Gabrielle Union and what the expectations were around the season, and then the payment that corresponded with that as well. So there's more to unpack when it comes to that, but that'll just have to be in a later show, y'all. Okay, let's get into the roundtable topics. The first topic, of course, was the Winter Olympics, where the USA hockey team, the men's, they took home the gold, and hockey player Jack Hughes scored the winning puck. And unfortunately, at the same time, the man lost 2.5, 3 teeth, maybe 3. It looked like it was like 2 at the top and maybe 1 or 2 at the bottom or so. But he was happy about it. I ain't never seen that. But they say that in hockey, you be losing teeth. So I think it's really more of a a trophy, especially when you won the gold medal. Okay. This is the first hockey though win since 1980, in which it sounds to me like Jack actually foresaw in a dream that he would score the winning goal the night before the game. Yeah, he told his brother, who also plays in the league as well. The women's hockey team also won last week, defeating Canada in overtime 2-1. It was the most watched women's hockey game of all time. Additionally, the USA women's hockey team, although they were also invited, they specifically put out a statement recently just saying that they will not be able to attend the 47th State of the Union address because they have a lot of other obligations. So they politely declined the invitation. As we know, of course, y'all, Jenna got a twin. You know, she got the twin Barbara, and she revealed that her and her sister always shared a room growing up, and used to sleep in the same bed at times. And Sheinelle, at first, I think she was like a little surprised, not because that they used to sleep in the same bed, but I think because of the age. But Sheinelle got twins, so maybe she understood. I believe she understood. She went back to the conversation of basically Jenna sharing rooms with her sister, and Jenna says that she has always shared a room with her. And when Jenna got married, I know this is the part, right? When she got married, she and her sister Barbara, I guess they had this tradition where they would like, sleep in the same bed on Christmas Eve. And she slept in the bed with her and her husband on Christmas Eve. And Jenna said her daughter was like, why would Auntie Barbara sleep in the same bed with you and Daddy? Like, kind of thing, which, baby, I would have been asking the same thing. But yeah, I guess it's maybe a twin language. I don't even want to sit up here and pretend like I can understand a twin language because I clearly don't have no twin. So I'm just going to say it's a twin thing. It's a twin thing. Yeah. She did clean it up a little bit and say it was only during like their 20s. And you're only 20 for what? You're only in your 20s for like 10 years. Right? Technically 9. Like, right? You think about saying it. So it wasn't too long. 29 years, kind of. Some people may find it strange, but again, I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I understand the twin language because it's a twin thing, baby. They also talked comfort animals and like comfort sort of growing up, and in terms of stuffed animals, Sheinelle talked about having basically like a Cabbage Patch doll, and y'all, she named her Cabbage Patch doll Lily Debbie Allen after Debbie Allen, and I don't think she was able to explain like why she put the Lily in front of the Debbie Allen, but her Cabbage Patch doll was named Lily Debbie Allen. I had a Kenya doll, the Kenya. Just like me, Kenya. Like I had that doll, making Kenya feel pretty, makes me feel pretty too. So I had that doll, and that was my favorite doll growing up once I got that doll. She wasn't as skinny, of course, as like the Barbie. She had a little bit more height to her. She was a little bit bigger, She had on like this, what looked like this blue sort of a tribal material dress. It was so pretty. Her hair was curly. It was, it was way more relatable than any of the other dolls actually that I played with growing up. So shout out to the Kenya doll. So much snow, as I said earlier, was out at NYC. There was trucks in the back. Typically it's people walking on the streets of New York City, but there was trucks, y'all, plowing the snow in the background instead of the usual passerbyers. Yeah. Today's guest though was SNL legend Tracy Morgan. He's working with Daniel Radcliffe and Erica Alexander in a new show called The Rise and Fall of Reggie Dinkins, where he plays a disgraced former football superstar who lets a documentary crew follow him around as he attempts to rehabilitate his public image. He describes it as basically good old-fashioned TV. Tina Fey, though, is somebody he also talked about. She was brought up. He says Tina Fey is basically like a sister to him. There is great writing on the show, he says, and that there's a lot of stuff that actually Tina Fey has taught him. He also gifted the entire cast, and this is where I think Jenna and Sheinelle, I don't know what they thought, but I'm going to tell y'all, he gifted his entire cast and crew with a gold chain. Do your chains hang low? Do they wobble to the floor? I wouldn't say it's a wobble to the floor chain, but it's definitely one of them chains that you like, okay, bling, bling. But basically, there's a character on the show. The character plays football, of course. There's a jersey number that the character has, and he gifted everybody with a gold chain with the football jersey number of the character on the show. And he said it was basically just his way to say thank you to the people who works for him, or who he works with, on the set. Tracy kept talking, but low-key, I think the ladies wanted a breaking news moment of somebody bringing they chain out, like the song dropping. Like, can you imagine, like, all of a sudden the song coming on, like, do your chain hang low? And then you have, like, a server or a butler come out with, like, their bling, like, each one of them, like, one for Sheinelle, one for Jenna. That's what I was thinking that they wanted. Maybe I'm wrong. Am I tripping? I don't think I'm tripping on this one. But Tracy, take note. Take note. Tracy also opened up about working with Meg Thee Stallion, and how down to earth and basically grounded she is. I guess she plays the role of maybe a postal service worker on the set, which is also a job for the everyday person. So I guess he was trying to say she doesn't have any choice to be down to earth, but in general, she still is, down to earth. So reportedly, Tracy's house is like a museum. It's like a museum, they say, meets aquarium. He has so many exotic, like, fish tanks, including, like, piranhas. If I can find the house tour that he did for his house, I'll also drop that here in the show notes. He also talked visiting Bob Marley's house and how he had a chance to lay in the bed from, that song, No Woman, No Cry. There's a bed, I guess, is it the video? And Tracy Morgan said he had an opportunity to lay on the bed. It sounded like a very spiritual visit for him when he went to that tour spot there. I believe it was in Jamaica. One of his friends, though, he said, as a result of going to this tour, gave him a J, from Bob Marley's house that he also has on display at his home. Now, I'm not sure if that is still there because Jenna followed up and asked him, like, hey, did you smoke it? But he never answered that. As a reminder, the show The Rise and Fall of Reggie Dinkins is out now on NBC and Peacock. Chloe Kim, she is a 3-time Olympic medalist, and the joke was that when she looked outside, she was like, I wish I had my snowboard. Now, I know everybody ain't like that, so shout out to the folks that want to get out in the cold. I can never relate, but I like watching you in your Elsa element, okay? Just because I don't like it don't mean it ain't likable. All right, I just don't like to do it. I will say that Chloe Kim revealed to us that she did have a shoulder injury, which was hard for her training because it kind of limits your range of motion. Well, I can relate to that. But she also learned to champion through it in spite of the odds. She listened, she said, when she was doing her thing out there. She said she was listening to Young Thug. I don't even think I know a Young Thug song, but I'm glad to know that that's music that was motivating your spirit. Yeah, she said the Snoop was there, and he was also helping to coach. Remember, I said that he was a honorary coach there for the Olympics. I want to say the first ever honorary coach at the Olympics. Yeah, and Snoop just so happened to be wearing her garb, so I think it was like a shirt that maybe had her name on it, a jacket. Not her name, y'all. It was her face. I don't know if her name was actually on it. And also her boyfriend as well. So if you don't know, her boyfriend is actually Miles Garrett, who is also a good photographer, she says. So she says if football doesn't work out, yeah, he can always get a job as a photographer. He is also set to be on the March 2026 Sports Illustrated issue. He plays for a football team. I just did not add that into the script. So shout out to whatever team he plays for. Yeah. Bachelorette alum Tayshia Adams and season 51 runner-up and general contractor Tyler Cameron, they were on the show as well. They was talking about their new HGTV show called Bachelor Mansion Takeover. It's where former contestants put their design and their renovation skills to the test. And side note, this is what I will say on a side note. I really did like Miss Adams' outfit. I loved what she was wearing. It was like a leather form-fitting skirt that went past the knee, right? Perfect in my opinion for like the wintertime. She also had a slightly size up. I'd say maybe, if she was an extra small, maybe it was a small. But I like the fit on her because it gave like a loose fit in spite of the fact that the skirt was a little bit form-fitting. It was also navy. She was wearing all navy as well. Was it like a day of the Navy? Like it was a Navy day. Okay, I'm not mad at that. Shout out to the color navy. They then share a easy DIY. Like they shared basically easy DIY projects that you can do at home to revamp your space, including how to do basically a table mural, also lighting to set the mood. Yeah, as a reminder, the show Bachelor Mansion Takeover premieres on Monday, March the 2nd. Dr. Amy Shaw is a double board certified medical doctor, and she was in the building talking about hormone health. She also just wrote a book called Hormone Havoc. And I want to say a side note, and it's only because I was trying to look look it up as a resource. But there is another book called Hormone Havoc. So the book that's by Dr. Amy Shaw, just make sure that Hormone Havoc that y'all see, if you don't have a visual of what the book looks like, which of course I'm going to be linking the entire show in the show notes. But there's another book called Hormone Havoc. So you got to kind of watch out. And I found it on Hoopla, but it is not the same one that was actually written by Dr. Amy Shaw. Some of the tips, though, that she shared include incorporating the 30-33 method in nutrition, which means 30 grams of protein in the morning, 30 grams of fiber, and then 3 servings of probiotics. She also gave some tips talking about giving us some, basically fine-tuning your circadian rhythm and what that means. It means that we need some input from the sun and also some darkness as well. For me personally, I love the sun. That's why I liked living in the Sunshine State, because I feel like it matched my personality. But believe it or not, I also lived in Colorado, and fun fact, the sun shines 300 days a year there. And I thought they was lying, but I actually can tell you right now, that is a true fact. The ladies also answered some, wait a minute. She talked about the darkness, but she also talked about how we needed natural light to fix our clock, because that is basically the decision maker. And also she added in there some strength training. I talked about the fact that one of the things that I want to do is get into adding some weights into some of my workouts. And hearing her say that just reminded me, girl, you ain't added no weights yet. And if you did, it ain't enough weights. And don't wait too long, because weight broke the wagon down. The ladies also answered some IG questions in their series called Ask Away. I guess they was asked about their dream guest, and believe it or not, of course, I should have known that they would pick the top 2 singers in America. And of course, it is Beyonce, and then that's who Sheinelle said she want in terms of her dream guest, because she said they would have some fun talking to her and Jenna. And then Jenna said Taylor Swift. Of course, Swiftie, Beyonce, let's do this, y'all. They were asked if they ever wear the same clothes again on air. Yes, they did say that they do. I think even Sheinelle confessed, like, yeah, I've worn these trousers before. But they do a lot of mix and match, if you ask me. So you cannot always tell. I also feel like it's so relatable. That's one of the things that I like that First Lady Michelle Obama did when she was in the White House. I like the fact that she would sometimes repeat outfits, because it just kind of made her more relatable. And I think it's the same thing in this case. I had met folks, and especially like in the earlier Instagram days, where it was like, I can't repeat outfits, kind of thing. But these ladies do not mind repeating an outfit or two, and I like it. They also asked about how the ladies walked in the heels, in the morning, and Sheinelle basically gave us the inside. She was like, girl, I be on here. Well, she didn't say it like that, y'all. She just basically said, yeah, we have them on, but as soon as the show is over, this is my method. Like, there's an area where they walk back to. As soon as she walked back, she put her hand on the bar. She takes off the heels. Today she had some red bottoms. She takes off the heels, and then she said she has some tennis shoes that she basically slips right into. And I think Jenna also has some shoes that she slips into, but I think Jenna actually kind of likes the heels, if you ask me. She didn't really tell us an exit plan that she has. She did talk about some slides or like some kitten heels. Okay, but nothing that verified that she overly takes them off. I think she likes the height. And today we actually got to see a little bit more of the height difference between Sheinelle and Jenna. And Sheinelle, you are short, like you said, but ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that, girl. A friendly reminder, though, about Sheinelle. She has a book called Through Mom's Eyes. In the book, Sheinelle interviews celebrity mothers about raising successful kids. And she said she had an ulterior motive. Her ulterior motive was that she wanted to bring all wisdom to bear on raising her own 3 children. The book is set to release on April the 14th, and I've already placed it on hold via Libby, a free streaming platform made possible through our local library. As a reminder, here at the Critic Chronicles, our goal is to provide quality but juicy content from websites, digital magazines, and tabloids, most of which are sourced from our public libraries. Research from the National Library of Medicine show that there are an estimated 17,000 public libraries nationwide, totaling 4 million visits each day. Public libraries are civic organizations that are committed to providing invaluable resources beyond books that are free and open to the public. Get your library card to access thousands of resources today and to read all of Jenna's book club recommendations. For access to the full YouTube episode of Today with Jenna and Sheinelle, check out the show notes in the description box. And we are hosting Blogmas in honor of Black History Month, and we'll release a video every day in the month of February 2026. We are also using this as a kickoff to 1,000 subscribers, so tell a critic of a critic to subscribe. Baby. And also, be sure to subscribe to our backup channel, Hey Critics, also linked in the show notes. Thanks again for tuning in to the Critic Chronicles YouTube channel, where you get commentary reviews and tabloid news. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload.